Hola, hola, mis madres poderosas. Hello, my powerful mothers. Welcome to my channel. Bienvenidas a mi canal. I am a homeschool, stay-at-home mama of three boys. Three boys ages 7, almost 6, and 4 years old. I am a first generation homeschool mama. You know, just here trying to change the world. And who's my world? My children are my world. And just here on a journey of enlightenment, on a journey of making a difference. So follow me and let's get this video going. So today I wanted to do a little bit different. I want to start introducing the books that I read. Why, you might ask? I don't know. I just feel like that's something that deep down I want to do, because the books that I actually get really hooked onto are like self-development books. I think that self-development books, or just self-development in general, is personally, in my opinion, a big thing, a big area in our life that is a must, in my opinion. So everything that I share is based on what I think and my personal opinion. And since I was like a little girl, desde una niña chiquita, I've had like the urge, esa urgencia de ser mejor y hacer mejor y ser mejor. No sé por qué. I don't know why I've had that urgency to do better and to know better, right? We can agree that when we were young, self-development wasn't really huge. You know, I'm 27, tengo 27 años, and so I'm basically like a 90s, early 2000s baby, you know? And back then, there wasn't all this YouTube stuff, there wasn't really like Google, internet, and personally, I didn't really hear about like any motivational speakers, or I didn't really hear about anybody reading self-development books in my circle, in my family, who I was around. But deep down in my soul, I knew I wanted to do better. I wanted to be better. So then, for some reason, I just started purchasing self-development books. I love reading. Since I was a little girl, I used to get hooked onto fantasy books. My favorite books were Harry Potter book series. Like, I absolutely loved Harry Potter. In my mind, I would travel to Hogwarts, and I was part of the Gryffindor team. You know, and I actually had an obsession with Harry Potter. Like, I would dream of him being my boyfriend, right? I was a Harry Potter nerd since I was a little girl. So then all I knew really were like fantasy books, you know, fiction books. And that was like my getaway as a little girl to get out of my reality. So now as an adult, now as a mama, you know, como madre, I feel like it's my obligation to be better. Not only for myself, not only for God, but for my children and my family. Because at the moment that they are, you know, at the moment that they see that their parents, you know, do better, they're going to want to do better as well. You know, they learn through example. So with that said, let me show you guys, let me show you mamas the book that I've been reading for the month of April. So basically I give myself 1 whole month to finish 1 book. Life gets in the way, life is hectic, my life is hectic. There's always a million things to do, and I have to admit I'm guilty of not being able to sit down sometimes and have my time, you know, my self-care. And my self-care involves books, involves reading, and sometimes I don't have the time to do that because either this thing happened, that thing happened, I ended up really tired at night, or whatever the reason may be, I just don't have the time. So I give myself those like 31 days of the month to just sit down and read, you know, whenever I have the chance here and there. And today I want to share with you mamas the book that I've been reading, because actually I am almost done with it. Like literally at the end of this book. So it's the 5 love languages of children. And I thought that, you know, this book fits with homeschooling and just life in general, right? As a mama, as a parent, because we all have one goal as a mom, as a tribe. We all know that we want to express our love to our children correctly. And is there a correct way? I don't know. I don't think so. But Gary Chapman is the author of this book, and he actually does have another book called The 5 Love Languages, The Secret Love That Lasts. And this one is like for married couples or like in a relationship, etc. This one is really good as well. I actually just finished reading it in March. Really, really good. But for the 5 love languages of children, I like how he goes and explains in detail, you know, the 5 love languages of children, which is quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, gifts, and acts of service. Oh my goodness. That mom brain, right? Anyway, yeah, so basically he goes into detail of what each love language consists of, and, you know, little clues of how to, you know, recognize your child's love language, you know, because as a child, he does explain here that a child will speak all the love languages, you know, because they're children, you know, they're getting to know who they are, and they are getting to know the world, and they love the physical touch in general. They love for you to kiss them, to hold them. They love words of affirmation. They like when you tell them, great job, you did great, you encourage them, right? They love gifts, you know, if you were to give them a special gift on a special occasion, they treasure that, you know, most of the time. They like acts of service, you know, they like for you to help them, you know, do their homework, do their work. They like when you help them even like change or bathe them. My boys completely love when I bathe them. I have a 7-year-old and an almost 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. And my 7-year-old knows how to take a shower. My 5-year-old is learning to take a shower right now on his own. But for some reason, they all enjoy baths. They love when mom sits there and bathes them, you know, and spends that also quality time with them, you know, gets to talk to them, you know, reads them books here and there, gets to spend that time, and at the same time I'm doing a service for them, you know. So they like all those kind of things, and it's just part of their love language. The difference is that every child holds a language that is more, that speaks to them louder than all the other languages. For example, I can say like my 7-year-old, I kind of had like, I kind of would see that he would like quality time, and he's like a words of affirmation type of child. So one day when, as I was reading this book with the tips that Chapman gives you, he does, you know, tell you that like if they're like in the older range, like 7, 5 and above, that they can communicate with you a little bit more, for you to, you know, ask them questions. And I was able to ask my 7-year-old, hey, you know, hey Jaime, so one day we were grocery shopping, which was like last week, we were grocery shopping, and I took him with me, and I asked him, how do you know that mom and dad love you? And he thought about it for a while. He's like, well, you take us to Chuck E. Cheese. And I'm like, okay, because he's obsessed with Chuck E. Cheese, okay? So and then he's like, so then I asked him, what is it about Chuck E. Cheese that you like though? Like, what is it that you like when we go with you? And he said, you know, I love when we all get to play games with each other, that we all, you know, spend time with each other. So what does that mean? That means that my 7-year-old really enjoys quality time. So that means that when I sit down and just read a book with him, that means the world to him. That means that 10 minutes of my time one-on-one means the world to him. That means that spending grocery shopping, just me and him, is special to him, you know? So that tells me that quality time is what he treasures as a family. And then he likes encouraging words, you know? He likes his words of affirmation. That's like his second love language. So that's what I found out about him. My other son, my 5-year-old, I asked him, and you know, he likes when I give him the tickle attack. I call it the tickle attack. I just randomly go and I start tickling him, and he enjoys it. He enjoys wrestling with his dad. Like, and he's a very physical child. And I can tell from there that he really uses his physical touch to express his love, and also express his anger, express his... He uses physical touch to express what he feels. And then for my 4-year-old, I found that he also likes quality time. He likes when we're just sitting down watching something. If he sees me doing something, he comes and joins what I'm doing. You know, I haven't really asked him directly yet why mom and dad love, like how he knows that mom and dad love him. But I'll be getting to it. And you know, the more questions that you ask, the more communication when you have with your children, like, you would be surprised what you know about them, you know? So I want to share a couple quotes that he does, you know, that he does reference in this book. And one of them that I really love is, unconditional love shows love to a child no matter what. And the reason why this really sticks to me personally is because I think that, for myself, I'm just going to speak for my own words, and from what I've seen, is I sometimes get caught up in that frustration, and that, you know, that irritation or that anger sometimes when they don't follow directions, you know, or they do something that I told them not to do. Or for example, like, you know, they're here playing inside in the house with a ball, and I tell them, hey guys, go outside and play with the ball, because inside the house you will end up breaking something. And they end up breaking something, and it's kind of like, les dije, did I tell you? Like, you know, so you start feeling frustrated and anger, and then it's easy to get like hooked on to those like negative emotions and like get really mad. And then that conditioned love starts to appear, you know, where I only love you when you are doing quote unquote good. I only love you when you're listening. I only love you when, you know, I tell you what to do. So then those conditions start building up, and in a lot of times we forget to love them even when they don't listen, you know. We forget to love them when they're just being humans, you know. We make mistakes, we mess up a lot. And I think that our job as parents is to love our children just as much as God loves us. And the only difference is that we'll never love our children the way that He loves us. You know, He really, really loves us. And He is the total definition of the unconditional love, because He loves us when we are the worst of the worst. You know, He's there. He's there to hold us. He's there to love us, and He's there to protect us. So as a parent, it's good to have that as a reminder that we are building our children from the image of God, and God is unconditional love. So that's why that sentence in this book really resonated with him, because that is something that I want to teach my children, that it's a core value that I want to pass on to my children, that no matter what, I love you, you know. And it's hard. It's not easy, because like I said, we are human and we do get caught up in our feelings and our emotions, and sometimes we forget. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible. That only means that we just gotta continue doing what we do, continuing to grow, continuing to lay our frustration, lay our impatience, lay our irritation, our anger to God, and ask for Him to help us replace those emotions with that unconditional love that we should be, you know, spreading to our children. So that is something that really, really resonated with me. And the other thing, he actually gives a lot of tips, like if you have teenagers, for example, because, you know, teenage years are actually I think personally, they're the most difficult years of parenting is teenagers, because there's a lot of hormones, a lot of things that are just going through that, like those teenagers, and you gotta really like prep yourself to understand them, you know. And unconditional love them unconditionally, you know. So, and then at the end of each love language, when he goes on and describes the love language, I like how he puts at the end of the chapter, he puts ideas on how to, you know, ideas on how to go about their love language. For example, I have the acts of service right now, and I highlighted some ideas that I actually like. For example, there's an idea that says, help your child practice help your child practice for their sports team, such as pitch and catch for baseball, or shooting free throws for children participating in basketball, etc. And he gives these ideas because, you know, like I did mention in the beginning of the video, like children do need all the 5 languages, and it's good to just take these ideas and even practice that with them here and there, even if you notice that that's not your child's like main love languages. For example, like my children, my 3 boys are big time sports fans, so we like to go take them to the park and practice their sports. You know, football, they love football, they like sports, and that's like a way to support them, you know. And it just gives like, he gives a whole bunch of ideas that you can go through and really, you know, take your time and read. He does have a website where he has like a study guide where you can take a quiz and kind of like get to know your child's like love language, and also for like the married couples, you know, or relationships, for you to identify your love language and your spouse's love language. So it's a really, really good book. I really did I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I am almost literally done with it, so I can move on to my next book in May, and I will keep you mamas updated with my next book, which they're pretty much all self-development books, ladies. Like I said, I am obsessed with it, and I'm not perfect. Like, I am not perfect, but I have this obsession of doing better. You know, it's like it's my obligations. Like, you know, God calling me to, you know what, like, let's do this, girl. So, okay, I really do hope you enjoyed my little book review on the 5 love languages of children. I will leave the website down below for Gary Chapman for his study guide quiz, and I will try to link down below the link to the book so you can purchase it. I bought this, I got this off of Amazon, and I also got the 5 love languages, The Secret Love That Lasts, in Amazon as well. And I will try to link both of these down below so you mamas can check them out if you haven't read them. And if you have, please let me know what you think. Let me know if these books were any help to you, if this book, The 5 Love Languages, was helpful to you, and how you're using it in your everyday life, and, you know, just... Okay, mamas, pues muchas gracias, muchas gracias. Thank you so much for watching. Muchas gracias por venir, y espero que tengan un día maravilloso, un día hermoso, un día lleno de bendiciones, a full day of love, of blessings, and I hope to see you guys on my next video. And thank you for watching, and stay tuned for my next video. Thank you, and bye.